The Ginyu Force reigns supreme once again. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we have the EZA details for the AGL GINYU and his two banner units, the Jason Birder and the Raccoon and Goldo. So in today's video, we're going to break these guys down and give our full thoughts on their EZA details. So let's just start with the AGL GINYU. That's the one we're here for. That's who we're concerned about. So let's take a look here. So no changes to his leader skill. Still Terrifying Conquerors, Planet Namek Sokka. With an additional 30% for space traveling warriors, same as it was before. On his basic effects, he gets an attack and defense 200%, launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack, and damage reduction rate 20%. He's giving Ginyu Force allies attack and defense 60% with a 20% chance of performing a critical hit. So this is insane, actually, what he's doing. That additional 60% support, that's going to make the rest of the Ginyu Force, including himself, do a lot of extra damage and get a lot of extra defense. When attacking with 12 or more ki, he gets attack and defense 150%. He gets an additional 20% attack and defense per Ginyu Force ally on the team, up to 100%. And when there is a Ginyu Force category ally on the team, he gets effective against all types and chance to perform additional super attack 50%. For one turn from his entry turn, or when HP is 70% or more at the start of the turn, he has a chance to perform a critical hit and damage reduction rate 30%. So, I mean, honestly, base form is looking pretty good. Let's see how they changed his super attack effect. So, raising attack for the turn and infinitely raising defense. So pretty much the same as what it was before, right? Infinitely raising defense and base, which means that very likely his transform state is going to be doing the attack stacking. So let's see here. Recovers 59% HP, key 1, and attack and defense 250%. Launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack, and attacks effective against all types. He also gets an additional damage reduction rate 50%. When attacking, he gets attack 150% and chance of performing a critical hit 50%, and great chance of launching an additional super attack. When receiving an attack, he gets an additional defense 150% and chance of aiding enemies attack 50%. As well, when there's an ally who includes Jace, he gets his scatter effect. Okay, and then on his super attack effect, he is greatly stacking attack as expected. So pretty much what he was doing before, but dialed up to 11, right? So if we, compare we compare the base and the transformed Goku Ginyu state, right? The base is designed to stack that attack up as much as, or stack that defense up rather, as much as he can until you are ready to transform. Now, the transform state still is an active skill, which means you still have to fall below 59% in order to activate that, which could cause some problems, especially in like Festival of Battles, because, right, for the most part, you're either dead by the end. You're either dead or you're taking double digits. Like, there's no in between at those points. So it seems like it's going to be interesting trying to transform him in that event. Now, one thing that does kind of bother me about his conditions is the per Ginyu Force, right? Currently, there, as we can see here, there is only the Ginyu and his two banner units that are EZAing. The rest of the units aren't really currently viable, right? The rest of the free-to-play units and then the LR Ints Ginyu Force, right, are kind of, not usable, which means there's really no way to activate that full passive without the aid of items, of course. So I wonder if this means we're getting more Ginyu Force in the future, because without that, they're maxing out at 60% extra attack and defense, which isn't going to be bad. Let's see. Actually, we did pull up Halvard's calcs here. So, without support, start of turn 300%, 300k attack and defense, building up to 1.4 after 2 supers. If you have all 5 allies, he's getting 2.1 by the end of the 3 supers. And, you know, if you let him stack up for 2 to 3 turns, you're looking at 4.4 million by the end of that, with 40% support, bumping him up to 4.7. But realistically, you want to knock off 40% from that because he's probably not gonna have the extra 2, so that would probably knock him. I mean, that's still gonna, like, with all the support and stuff, that's still gonna be knocking by 8 super attack effect stacks. That's still gonna be knocking him somewhere here between 3.8 to 4 million. So it's I guess it's not that bad. Of course, when he's transformed now, that's when things get a little different, because he stops stacking attack defense, right? So he's pretty much at, you know, 900k defense and 2.4 when receiving an attack at that point, and that's if you transform him right away at that point, because he doesn't get any additionals. He has that on receiving an attack effect, and we've seen how powerful that can make units. Combine that with his 50% damage reduction, he's going to be looking pretty good. So honestly, I could, you know, he's going to be really... the Ginyu seems like he's going to be okay, especially when you combine that with greatly stacking. He's going to be building up attack really, really, really fast. So, very impressed there. So let's take a look at the Raccoon and Guldo. So the Raccoon and Guldo have attack and defense 200%, damage reduction rate 30%, great chance of guarding all attacks. Ooh, I do not like that effect, right? I don't like when they do the great chances. Those are usually never good. But let's keep going on. Seals attacked enemy super attack. So guaranteed sealed though, so I guess that's nice. After guard is activated, defense 100%, launches an additional attack with a 50% chance of becoming a super attack. When attacking with 12 or more key, 50 attack and defense 50%, attack and defense 20% up to 100% for every attack received. And when there's a Ginyu, they get guard. Oh, okay. So you don't really have to worry too much about this great chance, because he's going to have guard when you have a Ginyu on rotation. Then damage reduction rate 30% before attacking, and stuns the attack enemy. So that's really okay. That's actually going to be really good for them, because they're going to be slot 1 most of the time. So this is pretty good. Super attack effect. Are they stacking or anything? Greatly stacks attack and defense for the turn. No. Okay, so I mean, pretty much keeping that the same, but they are extra good when Ginyu is next to them. Very nice. Okay, looking at the Jason Birder. Jason Birder have attack defense 200%, launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack and a great chance of evading enemies' attack. They give space traveling warriors or special pose category allies key 3 and attack defense 40%, and get attack defense 50% up to 200% for every attack performed. They have a chance of evading enemies' attack temporarily 10% extra when receiving a super attack, and chance of evading enemies' attack 10% within the turn before receiving an attack when you have a Ginyu on the rotation, and all allies attack defense 30% for 2 turns. So essentially you would be giving 70% support to the rotation, 30% to the next rotation, then of course Ginyu support for 60%. So, you know, I feel like that's not really being factored into the defense that Halvard showed in his calcs here. I feel like that means the attack and defense is going to be a lot better than we presume. But of course this does mean having a lot of Ginyu Force members, all 5, which means you're probably going to have to step into those free-to-play units. So hopefully they do get a super easy A. Alright, excellent. So honestly, all in all, looking pretty good. Base form has a little bit to be desired, but I think overall he's going to be good. So we did put out a question to you guys here on Twitter to see what were your thoughts on the on the Ginyu Forces EZA. So let's take a look here. Let's see what you guys said. So from Proton 10MG, good but not very versatile, but good. The fact that they kept these cards working well exclusively with each other makes him think that Ginyu Force is getting more buffs in the near future. And then Rock here says they can't wait, but Ginyu Force for... they can't wait for a full Ginyu Force team, but like for this team, you would run Int Boo instead of Vegito for short events. Little confused about this team because Vegito doesn't really work on this team. I'm not sure what's going on here, but okay. Either way, still good. Let's see, and I think it looks like we got one more update here. Let's see. Okay, we got Ichigo saying, yeah, they held back. Okay, interesting. And that seems to be the going consensus here from a lot of posts I'm seeing. They do feel like they held back, especially for Ginyu's base. The Goku Ginyu doesn't seem bad, right? You're going to have similar performance out of him, like you would like Kefla, because of that defense on receiving an attack, right? Once you build up the attack you need, once he gets ready for stacking defense, once you build up the defense you need, you swap them, stack the attack, and he's gonna have more than enough defense thanks to that buff. So honestly, you know, I do wish they could be a little bit better. I never got to enjoy these guys during their heyday, because I just never pulled them, but they do look impressive, and I can't wait to test them out in game. No matter how you feel they are, good or bad, I think the best thing we can do in a case like this where we have such hyper exclusive units is to wait to see how they actually perform in game. So guys, that is it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and in the comments down below let us know what do you think of the Ginyu Force EZAs? Are they up to standard? Are they good enough? Or do you feel that they might have held back on these ones? Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.